Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, AOC has blasted Elon Musk on his own platform about something stupid he said, something political, and he has been getting deep into politics lately, hasn't he? As we know, he was a cheerleader for the Trump campaign, which was successful. He financially supported it. Turns out it was over $200 million after initially saying he wasn't going to support either candidate. He did in a big way, cheerleading, moral support, turned up to rallies, and it was successful. Did he buy a president? It seems like that. They've been buddy-buddy ever since. And after the election, of course, Elon was awarded with the Doge agency, this fake Department of Government Efficiency. It's really a think tank or an advisory position. It's not an official government department. That would be a massive conflict of interest for Elon, who has huge business interests. You know, if he was in charge of efficiency, he can get rid of things that he doesn't like, and maybe he is going to do that. Even though it's not a real government department, it didn't stop him from putting this on Twitter here. It's got 2.2 million followers, and he's been tweeting out there, or the department has been tweeting out there, the fake department, the pseudo department, the quasi government department, anything he wants to really. And this is the context where AOC blasted him for something he said. Now we get to the egregious Elon tweet that AOC had an issue with. He said, defund the ACLU. And we see Anonymous down here replied, defund Elon Musk. Elon takes way too much taxpayer money and subsidies when he could easily fund his own companies. Good point. Elon Musk companies get tens of billions of dollars through contracts and programs the US citizens pay for. And that is true. He gets government contracts for SpaceX. You know, there's a tax credit for EVs, for Tesla cars, and other subsidies that he's getting. He's got literally billions. And so now he's in there in a position to cut. Do you think he's going to cut his own funding, to his own companies? And by the way, hat tip here to Adam Mockler, who found this, who has made a video about it, which I will put a link to in the description. Thanks, Adam. And here's what AOC replied to Elon when he said defund the ACLU. They receive $0 in taxpayer funds. Fact checking Elon there. And it got 4 million views. So anything that Elon tweets out gets millions and millions of views. And not many people have got the clout, you know, the reach, because they do restrict reach on there. That's part of what the algorithm does. If you do criticize Elon on X, you'll find that your reach is very, very small. It's more like the more that you criticize Elon, the smaller and smaller your reach gets. But AOC still has a big reach. And she continues, meanwhile, you all are proposing defunding veterans' healthcare, Medicare, and Social Security when you think no one is watching. Clearly she's watching. Doesn't get lower than gutting some of the only lifelines left for veterans, seniors, widows, and the disabled. And there's this related bar graph here. Entire programs Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy propose cutting. That's VA healthcare. This is in billions, mind you, 119 billion. The NIH, 47 billion. Pell Grants, 22 billion. Head Start, 12 billion. FBI, 11 billion. Federal prisons, 8 billion. And the SEC, which is an interesting one, 2 billion. Now, if you don't know what all of these are, and people outside the US might not, VA Healthcare, United States Department of Veterans Affairs, so veterans, NIH is the National Institute of Health, Pell Grants is help for low-income students, paying for college expenses and so forth. Head Start provides early childhood education, health, nutrition, and family support services to low-income children and families. The FBI, I think we all know what the FBI is, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The SEC, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, protects investors, maintains fair and efficient markets, and facilitates capital formation. Now, why would Elon be keen on cutting the SEC? Well, he's had previous run-ins with the SECs, tweeted about it, railing against them. And what happened was Elon Musk was fined by the Securities and Exchange Commission in 2018. Musk and Tesla each agreed to pay $20 million. Agreed to. It was a deal, but he had to pay it. It was a civil fine as part of a settlement with the SEC. This fine was imposed in response to Musk's tweets about having funding secured, remember that, to take Tesla private at $420 a share, 420 haha, which the SEC deemed materially false and misleading. So misleading statements by the Tesla CEO, and he got fined for it. The settlement included several other provisions. Musk was required to step down as Tesla's chairman for 3 years. So obviously he's furious with the SEC. Tesla had to appoint 2 new independent directors to its board. It could be argued that the board is really in his pocket still. Tesla was required to establish a new committee of independent directors and implement additional controls to oversee Musk's communications. One of those was, I think, checking his tweets. Every tweet that he tweets out was checked by a lawyer, which obviously is not happening. He's tweeting all hours of the day and night, 60, 70, 80, up to 100 times a day. I'm sure that is not happening. Now you can see why he doesn't like the SEC. Now, the SEC helps with finding and prosecuting fraud with the D.O.G.E. And does he really want that to stop? Then we can all think of instances in the past from Enron and FTX and other instances. Jim Chanos calls it the golden age of fraud. Do we really want the SEC cut? Elon Musk certainly does, and you have to ask why. Now, more on AOC as a rising star within the Democratic Party and gaining power. This headline says she seeks House posts that would make her a top foil to Trump. There's a bit of a power vacuum in the Democrat Party at the moment. They weren't successful in the election, and she's stepping up. She's having a more prominent role already, definitely in social media, as we just saw, calling out Elon Musk. So after years of challenging her party from the left, Representative AOC, a New York Democrat, announced a bid to join its leadership ranks in Congress. Representative AOC of New York built her reputation clashing with House Democrat leaders. Now, for the first time, she will take a shot at joining their ranks. AOC announced on Friday that she would seek the coveted position of top Democrat on the House Committee on Oversight Accountability, challenging a more senior colleague to fill the vacancy. Do you see how this could be pretty good for accountability, oversight, and accountability? And we have Vivek and Elon in their Doge and their fake Doge agency. So going to be interesting, some of the clashes if this takes place. If she succeeds and is chosen for the panel's ranking member, the 35-year-old congressman would be by far the youngest Democrat to help lead a House committee. She would gain a platform not only to investigate President-elect Donald J. Trump's administration, but also to help her party chart a path back from electoral defeat. So this could be really interesting over the next 4 years if she was in this position. Now it points out Democrats will face an important task. We must balance our focus on the incoming president's corrosive actions and corruption with a tangible fight to make life easier for America's working class. AOC wrote in a letter to colleagues, "I will lead by example by always keeping the lives of everyday Americans at the center of our work." And she demonstrated that with that tweet against Elon Musk, calling out what they're planning to do there. Elon and Vivek, as we've seen, planning to make cuts to the people who can perhaps least afford the cuts. The question now is whether her colleagues are ready to return the embrace and elevate a sometimes confrontational leader of the left-wing squad to be one of Mr. Trump's most visible foils. Now, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. And do subscribe if you're new here to get more of this kind of content from me in the near future. And this in related news about the growing toxicity of Elon Musk's X platform. This is via the damage report. Dr. Ali Lukes, a new doctor, she just got a PhD. She posted on there celebrating her new PhD, as people do. Says, "I'm officially PhD done." And her PhD thesis is pretty niche, as they all are. Find me one that isn't. Hers was about the politics of smell in modern and contemporary prose, which is definitely niche. Not something that I'd probably read myself. Not many people would, but that's not the point with PhDs. And as the damage report pointed out, these are some of the toxic, misogynistic comments she got just for celebrating her PhD. You are the face of tyranny, somebody said. And somebody else said, you literally have lived in the most advantaged time of all of human history for women. And after 40 years of literally nothing of any real value to show for it, your bloodline will end with you due to your need to stick it to the evil man by getting an education. For getting an education, can you believe it? And another one, even worse, the worst, vegan, feminist, and queer. Your dues to society are many, and me and my boys will rape them out of you. Can you believe that? This disgusting kind of behavior and comments on there just for celebrating her education. And another one, Blue Origin, the private space exploration company, had to take down a video they posted celebrating Emily Calandrelli. She's the 100th woman to go to space. Great, right? Here's a shot from the video they posted, but the reaction on X was so misogynistic that they pulled down the video from X. Can you believe that? Just celebrating women in space. And as I've said in a couple of previous videos, it's no wonder that people are fleeing that platform for Bluesky at the moment. More than 10 million people have gone over to Bluesky since the election, which this headline says, a place of joy, why scientists are joining the rush to Bluesky. Researchers say the social media platform, an alternative to X, offers more control over the content they see and the people they engage with, which, as you can see, is pretty important. In my two previous videos about people going from X to Bluesky, which I'll put a link to in the description, I reacted to videos, one from the CEO, Jay Graber, recently about the recent growth they've had, and one from the COO as well. Needless to say, I am on Bluesky, and do join me there if you want to try it out. If you want to have a different experience that is currently on X, here's my profile there, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well. So what do you think about this? Do you think that AOC is the rising star of the Democratic Party? Could she be the leader one day? And will she be a good foil to Trump over the next 4 years, and indeed Elon? And do you think that more people will be leaving X for Bluesky and other platforms because of this growing toxicity under the guise of free speech over there? There is censorship over there. People do get censored. You can't even say cisgender on there without being censored, so it's not entirely free speech. It has to be said, not at all. Freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. But certain things are allowed over there, seem to be encouraged even. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Now on screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link to a directly related video and also a subscribe link. Do subscribe if you're not subscribed already and you want to get more of this kind of content from me in the near future. And thanks to everybody for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.